I'm Katie from The Queen Stitch, and together with Love Crafts, I'm going to show you how to knit a heart today. I'm going to be using Paintbox Yarn's Simply Chunky in this super tasty red color with my 6mm needles, but you can use any yarn and needle combination that you feel is appropriate. If you'd like to make a big chunky heart, you can. If you'd like to make a tiny heart, you can. Any sort of Milton-sized heart, you can also do that. So I'm going to be taking you through how to cast on, how to knit and increase, how to knit across a row, 2 different kinds of decreases, the slip knit and the knit 2 together, and then finally how to cast off. At the very end, I'll show you how to weave in your ends so that you can have a perfect heart too. Let's get going. So first things first, we need to make our slip knot. Folding your working yarn over your end, pulling the working yarn through the loop and leaving the tail. Now you have a nice slip knot. Put your slip knot on your needle, and you've cast on 1. It seems a little weird here, but that's what we're doing. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna knit in the front here. And then instead of slipping your stitch off the needle, you're gonna knit into the back of the stitch as well. Seems a little weird, but bear with me. If I can actually get the stitch, that would be phenomenal. So now we have 2. So this row, you're just gonna knit across as you normally would. So needle goes in front, wrap it over. That was our normal knit row. So this time, we're gonna do that weird increase again that we did. So you knit the front of the stitch, and then, without pulling it off, insert your needle into the back of the stitch, yarn over, and pull off. So you're gonna do the same thing in this stitch here. Push your needle through in the front, wrap it around, don't pull off the stitch, you're gonna knit right in the back. And now we have 4 stitches on our needle. So now we have a knit row. Oh yeah. Easy peasy. I just love that this yarn matches my nails, don't you? Yes, that is the right answer. Okay, so now we're gonna do that same thing where we are increasing on the first end stitch and the last end stitch. Boop. Here we are. 1, 2. And then we increase on the last stitch. So 1 in the front, 1 in the back. Now, we're gonna knit across again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna continue to increase in one row and knit another row until you have 12 stitches on your needle. So right now we're at 6, so we're halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're doing good work, guys. We're getting there. So now I'm gonna knit 5 rows because I have to finish this increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 1. Okay, so this was my 4th row, which means I only have 1 knit row left. Before the decreases. I know. Don't worry though, we're gonna do them together. So this is row 5, getting through it. Okay, so now we have what looks like half our heart. Could also be a nose, sort of slopey triangle, but we're gonna make it into a heart. So now we start our decrease rows. The first thing we're gonna do is knit 6 stitches. So that's half our heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're gonna turn. Turn? Yes, we're turning. So now that we've knit that, we're gonna knit our first stitch, and then we're gonna do a decrease called a slip, slip, knit. So that means we're slipping off the first, slipping off the second, then you're gonna take this needle, go under it from the front, and then our yarn is gonna come around and pull through those 2 loops, which makes our decrease lean this way, which we want for that side of the heart. So then we knit across, and we have our 5 stitches and our 6 stitches. So then we turn, and just like the rest of the heart, we're gonna do a normal knit row. So just easy and across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now don't continue knitting because we're just working this side of the heart. So once we've got our 5, we turn. And now this row is extra crazy because we have 2 kinds of decreases. So we knit the first stitch, and then we do the slip, slip, knit like we did before. So I'm slipping this, catching those 2 that I just slipped, and knitting those together. And then we're gonna do a knit 2 together. So this one's a bit easier. You just take your needle, slip it under 2, boom. So now we're down to 3 stitches on our heart. Looks a little lopsided, and some hearts are, and we love them just the same. So now we're gonna knit this row because that's what we do after a decrease row. 1, 2, 3. And now we're gonna cast off this side of the heart. So we knit 1, knit 2, and then we're gonna slide this previous loop over that loop. Then we're gonna knit this last stitch and slide this loop over the other loop. And then I like to do this part with my hands. So you pull this loop up, snip off a large amount of end, and then you pull the end through the loop. Oh, imagine that. We have one side of our heart done. So the next step is that we need to rejoin our yarn. So what that means is we take our yarn here and just leave enough end that you can weave in later. We don't need to do anything fancy. So we're gonna knit that first stitch, and then we're gonna do a slip, slip, knit like we did on the other side. So slip 1, slip 2, catch those 2 stitches and knit them together. 1, 2, 3. So now we have our 5. And it's important to note that I started this from the middle of my heart, not from the outside edge. So now, since that was a decrease row, we knit across. Happy as clams. Do you think clams actually are happy? I'm not sure they have that much of a mental capacity for feeling. It's nice to think so, though. Okay, So now we're on that tricky decrease row where there's two kinds of decreases. So we knit our first stitch. Sorry, I'm just gonna pull my ends. Knit the first, and then we're gonna slip, slip, catch those two stitches and knit them together. And then we're gonna knit these two together. The point of doing these two different kinds of decreases is the slip, slip, knit decreases it this way, and the knit two together decreases it that way. So you have a nice rounded side of your heart. Then we're gonna knit that last row. And then we're gonna cast off. So we're knitting one, knitting two, sliding this guy over. Ooh, knitting the last one, sliding it over, and then pull that loop up. Snipping that end and pulling it through. So you may say to me, Katie, that doesn't look that much like a heart. And I would say to you, oh ye of little faith, we're gonna get there. So, in order to make this a little bit more rounded on the top and a little bit less, you know, infernal, we're going to use our tapestry needle, thread that yarn through, and we're gonna pull this towards the center. So you're gonna go in here and then down into this second stitch and then move down the row. Boop, boop, boop. And then you're gonna come in through here and down into this one and then down in through here and pull through. So you can see from this side, it's looking a little bit nicer. So then we're going to do the same thing with this side of our heart. Oh, little trick for getting your yarn through a tapestry needle, twist, 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 fold, just like that. And then it should go in easier if you twisted it enough. I obviously did not, but that's what we're here for. Learning together. Oh yeah, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so then again, I'm gonna go in from the outside. All the ends everywhere. And then come into the inside on the other row. And then we'll go down again, outside to inside. And if you'd like to do this any other way, you can feel free. But this is what I think works best for me and I think looks the nicest. So once we have all of our ends tucked in, we can snip them and turn our heart around. Now it also depends because you can always take one of these ends and make it like a little ornament. So you could even tie these two, just one. Depends on what you're looking to do with your heart. Fill it, give it away, you know. After telling you that trick with the twisting the yarn and putting it through the needle, I'm really not doing it justice. I promise it works in real life. All right. And then I just have my last end to weave in. Getting it in there. And then we'll go up, up. This one you don't want to pull that tightly, this bottom one, because you like that point at the bottom. And it's all woven in. And then it's time to snip the ends, my favorite part. Boop, boop. Now, if you're putting this in the wash, this heart, give it a little bit extra so that you can flex it and pull it around. And then boom, what you have is a nice little heart. Now don't forget, you don't only have to do this in this one size that I showed you in the tutorial. Here are some little versions, and here's a nice big version. Whatever size your heart, just like the Grinch. And you can pull those ends in to make it a little bit more rounded as well. Thanks for watching How to Knit an Easy Heart with me, Katie, from the Queen Stitch, together with Love Crafts today. If you enjoyed yourself, we have even more knitting and crochet tutorials available on Love Crafts channel. And if you subscribe, you'll never miss a video. As an extra bonus, this knit heart hat is available as a free pattern on the Love Knitting website. Bye guys.